Hey everybody, this is Scott, and I'm getting myself prepared for this upcoming Reiki 1 training, which will be on Sunday, January 22nd. So this is the final week of sign up for that class. Registration closes on Friday, so that we have a day of preparation before we actually do the class, Sunday morning at 10 a.m. I like to keep our classes small and manageable, so that we limit the attendance so that there's plenty of space for someone to ask questions, and the Reiki training is a little bit more individual. On the day of the class, you and I come together in our little group to explore Reiki. This is the core Reiki meditations as explained in the notes for this class, and they include 2 empowerments. One of those empowerments is through the ritual of Reiki and the conduit of my personal healing temple that I have been doing for several years now. And the second is through the online placement practice given by Reiki.org. So our time together is about 3 hours, and we do a lot of meditations. And those meditations are delivered in an online format, which is a guided visualization with some energy practices and some of my other skill sets to hold the space for that. So after each of the meditations that we do, we have a little time to process. And at the end of the 3-hour training, there's space for questions and answers. But I wanted to give you a little brief explanation of what those meditations are. We will be doing an expanded gassho practice, and I say expanded because there is the regular version of that with the kind of affirmations just for today that we do, and I like to expand upon that a little bit more from my meditation and magical training to create a more guided experience out of it and a deeper practice of meditation around the gassho. We connect to the teachers in the Reiki tradition, the masters in the flow of the Reiki current. We connect to the Ocean of Holy Love experience as given by Reiki.org and experience an online placement in that tradition of things. And then we conclude our event with an Usui styled empowerment that everyone might be more familiar with, although which is slightly altered because we are in an online format. These are equally as valid. I've done both trainings in many versions, in many styles and many traditions of Reiki that I'm not going to list at the moment, but I've done them over the years for a very long time, and they all work really well and in different ways. The empowerments are done, but the training is not. So students are asked to purchase 2 manuals, and these provide the academic portion of the class, and they are explored in monthly lessons that follow the attunement, giving you a self-paced, kind of non-graded homework to deepen your connection to the Reiki. In this class, Reiki is the guide. So I do not cover chakras or energy systems, or, I reserve that training for later, and I instead focus on Reiki as the guide to encourage you to follow those prompts. Reiki is a practice unto itself. So we like to add to Reiki in what we do. And honestly, this is awesome and a part of the energy system, but it is complete practice unto itself, and it does not need the add-ons, right? We may benefit from the Reiki flow in lots of ways, and it is a practice unto itself. But I recognize that it can be used in a lot of different ways, and we'll talk about those. At the end of this self-paced, at the end of this training, you basically walk away with the opportunity for self-paced learning to continue to connect with Reiki as a guide and to further your practice. Allowing that primary sensei, allowing that primary master, which is the universal spiritual healing energy, to really guide you, and then the prompts from the books and delivered in the way that I have written them in these follow-up lessons anchor those practices for you as you continue to grow. So, and I want to say, if you're an existing Reiki practitioner and you want to do a refresher, this is not weird or unfamiliar. I've had lots of students who have had Reiki training elsewhere and have benefited from a refresher with me. My Reiki masters, Claudia McGregor and Cheryl Coleman, they had a kind of side hustle of the Reiki and helping people to sort of ground into their Reiki practices that may have gotten an attunement from somewhere else, but did not feel that they got the training they required. So just let me know. I have a discounted price if you need a refresher and you're already a Reiki practitioner. You can sign up for these classes at starandstonellc.com. I have a Google form there for you as registration. Once I've received your registration and everything looks good, I'll send you the details of the class, and payment and all that sort of stuff. If you're interested in my Reiki practice as a book, there's lots of videos available on Instagram, on Facebook, on Vimeo, on YouTube. I even have a SoundCloud, and those are all listed on my websites as links. But if you just did a quick Google search of Scott K. Smith and Reiki, you'll probably find one of them there. Although if you need help navigating any of those things and want to know more questions about, have questions about the class, please let me know, because I'm happy to help. Like I said, I like to keep the classes small so that we had more individual attention. So I tend to limit them to about 6 people. And we have 4 spots left for this class. So if you're thinking about it, give me a shout out and I'll do my best to answer any questions that you have. Until then, you can check out my book, Reiki Spirit. It's available on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback format. I'm excited for this class. I love teaching Reiki. I've taught it for almost 30 years. It's one of my favorite practices, and I hope you'll join me. Blessed be.